Are you an out-of-state real estate investor? Do you invest in Indiana real estate from out of state and you've been taken advantage of? Or do you want to invest in Indiana real estate from out of state? Or do you want to invest in Indiana real estate in-state and you don't want to get taken advantage of? Guys, this class is for you. How to avoid being a victim of indie real estate wholesalers, scam, and turds. It's a good headline. And how to do deals from out of state correctly. Guys, I don't want to make this video. I really don't. I don't want to do these. Follow these steps and you'll be, did you move, Mr. Gorgeous? Follow these steps and you'll be immune to getting scammed. No more turds. You won't have to worry about them. Guys, I don't want to make this class. I really don't. We have lead magnets online. BigRia.com, Oz of Mayo, rhymes with KO. BigRia.com, number one channel in Indiana real estate on YouTube. Number one media company, real estate media company in the Midwest. All kinds of cool stuff. We're building the world's largest organization, especially these business owners, real estate investors. Thank you so much for all that stuff. It's all because of you. 1,000 views a day, 150 downloads a day in 30 countries on our podcast. We appreciate you guys so much. I love you. Guys, I adopted a son. I wasn't there for his early life because I've been getting this question a lot. There was a lot of abuse involved, but that was before I got him. Special needs son, and we developed a therapy for special needs people that involves real estate investing, business building, communication skills, and compliance skills. And now we're building the world's largest organization, special needs business owners, real estate investors. That's how I met Anna. That's how I met all of our heroes here. I say all that, guys, because we're building this group in Indiana real estate, with Indianapolis real estate, with the special needs stuff. We have a bunch of lead magnets on there. It is impossible to search for Indiana real estate and not come into our stuff. We have more lead magnets than anybody else. Just we're smoking everybody else, killing them. It's not good enough to win. You got to be sensational, as a famous boxer said, which is one of our tips today. Is it one of our tips today? I saw some of those earlier. But guys, we're getting leads right now. And like in the last 30 days, we got something like, let me check this out now. We got 40 calls, 40 leads. I don't want to say leads. These are people who are being ripped off. They're being scammed. And guys, this is our problem. If you're in Indiana real estate, this is our problem. Our immune system is dog shit. That's how these turds are able to do this. That's how we've got all these LCs walking around screwing people over. I'm amazed. Honestly, I don't want to make this class. I really don't. These are 19 passive income tips for any real estate investors. This is passive tip number 10. I did not want to make this class, but I am amazed. Honestly, I don't believe. I'm not some like great rule follower, right? But when the stuff people are doing, it's like, oh my gosh, I don't believe that people are getting away with this stuff. I don't know how it's possible. I really don't. This stuff is obviously illegal. They're ripping people off. The people are trying to get help and it's crazy. So I'm going to go over first the steps on how to avoid, what to look out for, red flags, then what to do. Between these 40 leads that came in the last 30 days, it's 200 properties. We don't manage properties. We only manage properties for our heroes, for the properties people that we're helping to buy, and then our own deals. I don't want to, we're not going to get into managing a bunch of properties like that, but it gives you an idea. Just in 1 month, we've got 200 properties. If we started doing property management, we'd have 200 properties immediately, 200 doors immediately from people who are so fed up with the people they worked with because there's a bunch of turds and people who are not doing ideal stuff in Indiana real estate. It breaks my heart, man. It's crazy because there's a lot of money, plenty for everybody if you do things correctly. There's a lot of turds. A lot of things to look out for today. I got to save the world again. Mr. Gorgeous is stepping in to take care of business and help you guys through this. This is going to be easy to do if you look out for these things. I promise you. I put time into this. Well, I didn't, but you guys did. On the best ideas on what we need to look for. So 19 passive income tips for real estate, Indianapolis real estate investors. How do we get so many leads, by the way? This is why. Who else is going to take care of you like this? All for free. Go to BigRia.com. Do it now. Look at these tips here. Get realtors to bring you $25,000 deals. I should be charging for this. People ask me, are you going to come up with a course? Fuck no, man. I don't have time for that shit. But this is all free. This isn't just like these are in-depth classes. You get downloads, free downloads. Go to BigRia. We have download. You can download scripts, emails, email templates, follow-up sequences, compliance curve material. You can get pictures and videos of the single most gorgeous human being on the planet, by the way. Is that what you're pointing to? You put him wherever you want. Put him off camera. I'm sorry, you guys aren't going to get the eye candy. All right. So number one, the first tip was get realtors to bring you $25,000 deals. Tip number two, how to pay off any rentals in under 3 to 5 years. Oh my gosh, how brilliant can it be? Number three, Burr explained, the Burr process explained how to buy 20 rentals for the same 50 grand just using our money recycler. How many houses do you need to make 30 grand a month? That was tip four. How to turn $10,000 into over 100 grand on a single deal. How to build 100. There's a reason I'm reading these all, by the way. I'm not just trying to impress you. I just want you to be impressed with brilliance as well. But it's part of it. But I want you to know how much stuff we give away for free. This is the kind of stuff you should look for to not get scammed. How to build 100 grand a month wholesaling business ethically. Wholesalers are generally turds. How to make 30 grand a month in passive income with any rentals, but you can do it correctly if you do it our way. How to create passive income with any rentals. Lightspeed landlording, 7 ways to pay off your rentals in 1 to 3 years. Construction models, how to make an extra 20, 30 grand a month from bad inspection reports. That was our last one. And today is beautiful number 10, indie wholesale scams, how to avoid being a victim by the many unethical indie real estate turds. Guys, I don't know how there hasn't been a shooting yet with these indie real estate people. Maybe there has been. I don't know. This is crazy what these people are doing and what they're getting away with. I honestly, I don't know how, man, I get my house rated, right? And you guys know what happened to me if you know my story. And these guys are getting away with just everything. Some people, honestly, we did a class on the guy, I don't ever want to mention people's names, but this is a guy who was the Fox morning host. His name was Clayton Morris. This is a guy who was an absolute scammer. He and his partner, I asked people, how many people do you think they scammed? And you know how much money do you think they made when they just absolutely scam people? You know, how much money did they walk away? It's the only time I've ever badmouthed anybody because of what he did. We come across people every single month who lost everything because they trusted him because he was on TV. They thought, oh, he's somebody to just search him. You're going to see he's a complete liar. He's a total fraud, complete scam. I don't know how it's unbelievable. But guess how much money him and his partner made from, I think it was WinPoint or whatever that name of that other property manager was. How much money do you think they made? They cleared over $30 million. I'm just going to throw it at you. People think a couple million, a couple $100,000. They scammed $30 million. That's how much money they made. And guess what? They're walking around totally free. He went to Portugal. It's a non-extradition country. And a lot of the damage that we were doing damage control. One of the reasons why we got back into Indian real estate, so many people think it's a scam because of the massive scam that he ran. A lot of people think that all of Indiana, it's not. Look, he gave Indiana a bad name. Him and their team, what they did was awful. They gave Indiana a bad name. But guess what? The crazy part, you know what? You would think, well, he's got to be completely gone, never coming around again. No, he's actually, not only is he free, but he's back into doing deals. How is it possible? Again, if you have the right media connections, the right political connections, you can get away with anything. You can get away with bloody murder, and you ain't got to worry about it. He's back to running scams again. It's unbelievable. And for the people that think, oh, well, maybe you're being a little too harsh. First of all, I've been doing this stuff online forever. I never badmouth anyone. I never talk shit about anyone. Even people who go after me, I say, you know what? I always think back to, I'm now involved at a fertility clinic. I know how difficult giving birth is, the process of giving birth. We tried multiple times for, not for the son I adopted, but I mean for my kids that I've had. And thankfully, I've been very blessed for that, to be in that process where I didn't have to go through what a lot of other people have to go through. Whenever I'm thinking someone's like, oh, that guy's a piece of shit, I always think, you know what? When his mom got pregnant with him, she must have been thrilled. She must have had so many hopes and aspirations, and she would be heartbroken if she saw what he turned into. And I should at least think about her feelings before I call someone a piece of shit, right? I go that way. Like, I go that deep, like that level of Buddha with it. Let me tell you something. This guy is a fucking piece of shit, okay? This guy, what he did, the people he ripped off, purposely going after elderly people, going after disabled veterans. It's unbelievable. At $30 million, and nothing happens to him. It's crazy. But people are following in his footsteps. The scams that people are getting away with are completely insane. It's totally bonkers, and nobody's doing anything about it. It's up to Mr. Gorgeous, I guess. And honestly, I don't even know what we're going to do, but we've talked to people. I've talked to some of these attorneys. We are in touch with the Attorney General's office right now. We've interviewed about 100 sellers, home sellers, about people who are being harassed by these wholesalers, the real estate wholesalers. Because wholesalers contact us like, oh, they're coming after us. I'm like, they're not coming after you. I'm coming after you. We hate a lot of these wholesalers and what they're doing. It's unethical stuff. You shouldn't be spamming people. I made a class. I'm going to talk about some of that stuff today. But we are trying to help to formulate these laws so that they go after these people and people are held accountable, because what's happening right now is crazy. All kinds of illegal activity. But the Indiana real estate is beautiful. There's a lot of great people too in Indiana. I don't want to say like everyone's a turd, right? There's some LCs and a bunch of, dickheads, but there's a lot of great people too. And you just got to get connected with the right team, and you got to do things properly. Honestly, I would be terrified if I were you too. I understand why people are so hesitant, but not everyone is like that. When people ask me like, how is he? I don't know. How are you able to get away? How can you scam people? 30 million. And then also one last final note, there's a great, I won't get into this. There's a whole nother class that Anna did where she mentioned this. They were asked to produce even one person that they worked with that wasn't ripped off. Couldn't do that. So it's like, these guys are just the worst. But I don't want to keep talking about him. This is the first time we've mentioned him before, but only him because of the stain he's put on Indiana real estate. But a lot of other people are doing stuff now. We're getting flooded with calls, emails of investors getting burned. They're working with wholesalers and they're not liking what's happening. So there's basically 3 big problems you guys are having. Number 1, you have rentals or you have property that's not being properly managed. That's 1. Number 2, you bought a potential rental and it turned out to be a lemon. It's not what you thought. The inspection came back totally crazy. Like, what the hell happened? And it's just completely bonkers. And maybe they lied and flat out gave you an inspection that wasn't not accurate, or they paid the inspector off, or they told the inspector. A lot of these guys, when the inspector comes back and says, here's what's wrong with the property, they'll pay the inspector more money to come up with shit to put on there so they can go after the sellers. These are people who, they're like, they need their money, and you're trying to screw the seller over. Gosh, these guys are the worst, man, the worst. 3, you're stuck somewhere in between and you don't know what to do to turn it around. You're at your wit's end. You want to get into real estate. Maybe you're on the coast. A lot of people on the coast where a shack is going to be $500,000-$700,000. You see the indie real estate thing, you're thinking, oh my gosh. You do your research. You didn't come across BigRia.com, because it's impossible not to come across us looking up Indiana real estate. But now, this was before that, and you came across turds that you didn't know they were turds in disguise, right? And now you don't know what to do. I'm going to explain this to you. I'm going to walk you through this. So here are the red flags, things to look out for. So when people say non-refundable earnest money deposits, don't do that, okay? don't ever do that. Do not ever fucking do this. I don't know how many people are calling. If they did, guys, nobody worth a shit is going to tell you that. Nobody. Okay. Now they're going to say, well, we don't want bums and people, tire kickers. Well, then you qualify people better. Don't you know how to generate leads? That's what you should be doing. And if you don't know how to do that, then all they're doing is just taking your money. This almost never works out well. I don't know how they're able to get away with this kind of stuff. And I guess if the people agreed with, why would anybody agree? Don't do non-refundable earnest money deposit. There's nothing good going to come out of that. Anyone doing that is a pile of dog shit. Not knowing the inspector, appraiser, construction, general contractor people ahead of time. Guys, when you get a deal from people and you don't have an inspector that you know, that you have a relationship with, that went out to that property, how do you, I don't want to blame you guys, because I get it. You're a professional and you're out of state or you're in state and you don't know anything about this. But guys, keep in mind, I went through a hard money class where I told you exactly what needs to happen for a closing. We write the offer. If you're going to use hard money, you get the inspector, the appraiser, the scope of work from your contractor, right? And then you go for a closing. Each of those three people you should know. And if you got to work with a team that knows these people really well, and you can have at least some conversation. The inspector, you want to make sure that basically the foundation issue. I don't know how people are getting away with. There's a few deals we've had right now, and we've actually turned these over to the authorities because it's crazy. These people have gotten inspection reports that are clearly not the inspection. It's not for the property, or at least, I don't know. It's all kinds of questions that we've had. We work with a few inspectors now. There's a group that we've started. We're in touch with several of them. They know of this problem. They're working to do stuff because they're sick of these wholesalers and these real estate scams going on. One of them, a few of them are getting deals from these investors, these people. They're going to do the inspection. And I'm not saying that this is legal either, okay? But they're marking up the inspection saying, oh, this place is a total dump. You want to stay away from this. They've got all kinds of issues with the foundation, blah, blah, blah. That's not true. They know it's a deal. They turn around and some of them try to move it to us. We say, look, let's not do that. We don't want to do that. They go and try to do the deal themselves and move it to another investor. I'm not saying that's right. However, I've said to inspectors, if you know who the shitballs are, right, and you know who the good people are, and the shitballs bring you deals, I'm not saying to do that. I'm just saying there is a way you could make the argument that they're, being kind of like Robin Hood, right? This is a problem. You should know the inspector, at least have a conversation with them and know what's happening. Either know exactly what the inspection report says. Go through our class. We talk about how to read inspection reports and the process. You got to do a little bit of research on this. You can, if you're in a situation right now where you're getting screwed, give us a call, give us a text, send us an email or a text. Please don't call. Send us an email or text. Because Anna gets close to 100 calls a day now on her. And now that'd be great. Like, oh, it's 100 leads. Well, some of these people, some of these people are wholesalers trying to move us deals. And you search the address of the deals, it's listed on the market for like 30 grand less than what they want. It's crazy. How are they getting away with this? I don't know. You guys, you need to know you got to know about the inspector, the appraiser. Again, some of these guys are buying. So we have, you know how many investors there are right now? At least 100 properties where they're trying to do BRRRR, but they're getting the appraisal. And the appraisal they had before was total BS. It was completely crazy, but you bought based on the appraisal. Now you're going to try to refinance and it's not getting appraised and you're stuck with this hard money loan and your interest. Guys, it's how do they get away with it? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. Now the construction GC people, these construction crews are not known for being like high quality people. Anytime someone's like, oh, we use E-Verify, they're full of shit. No one does that. Everybody, everywhere in America. Look, the real estate, if you're willing to pay 2-3 times as much for your house and wait 5 times longer, then okay, use not illegals or not undocumented workers. There's all kinds of stuff happening. But the GC, the general contractors, the construction crew, you need to at least understand a little bit of construction. I'm doing this myself to understand more about construction, so I shouldn't be preaching too much about this, but we are building a construction business right now. If you're having issues with the deal that's going on right now, you need help, we can come in and try to help you out a little bit, but it's important that you understand you need to be able to talk or have some communication with the inspector, the appraiser, and the crew, the contractor. At least check out their website, know who they are at least, and if nothing else, maybe get a second person involved. So if you go to a wholesaler and you're trusting their team, and they give you all 3 of these people, they're giving you a scope of work, and then it turns out, well, the scope of work is actually inaccurate. One of the things that's happening now, I don't know, how is this? I don't know. Now, why am I not mentioning these wholesalers by name? Because I don't want to punch down, honestly. And also, these guys I'm going to tell you what to look for, and then it's up to you to go out and experience this. Somebody moves you a deal. This is what's happened to several of our heroes right now we're working with. They give you a deal, and they say, oh, here's a scope of work. It's going to take 25 grand. As soon as you close on the deal, as soon as they make their money, they make their 10 or 15 grand, all of a sudden, that contractor gets sick, or he's got COVID. That's one a lot of them are using now. And now you get this other contractor who's like, well, there's things that guy missed. Now the price is going to be 35, 40 grand. Or they go back to the same guy who's like, yeah, but we missed these few things because of blah, blah, whatever. And now it's going to be 35, 40, $50,000 scope of work. And now the investor turns around, goes back to the person and says, well, you know what? I can do you a big favor and take that property off your hands. And now they're buying back the property. It's crazy what they're doing. I don't know how it's legal, man. The stories we're hearing, I have never heard stories like this. Now, people will hear this and be like, well, the buyer's a dumb fuck. If you're going to call these investors, I get that. I understand that attitude. attitude. But guys, we have to have compassion. We have to have empathy. You want to get in real estate. You want to change your income class. You want to make things happen. And, you trust people. You trust the wrong people, shit happens. And I understand that people don't have empathy for them. I have enormous empathy. We got scammed when I was growing up, man. We did a lot of stuff that we didn't know people either. That's why I'm making this class. You need to know who that inspector is, the appraiser, and the contractor. You need to get in touch with those people. And don't listen to anything. Anytime they're doing the whole deal, which by the way, we do that, but we've got a lot of stuff we talk. Like, man, I've never taken down a comment for anyone saying anything that I've said that's dishonest. So you'll never hear anyone say that Ozamail lied about anything I say. But these guys, it's like every day they're still in, I don't know how they're in business, man. It's crazy. And I feel so bad for you guys who are in this situation. Send us a text or an email with your details. We'll try to help you out. But moving forward, you got to be in touch with these people. So the worst mistake is not screening or building your team correctly. Here's how to do it correctly. What makes an epic management team? So management is the bare minimum. So if you have a rental and they're saying, oh, we will not only sell it to you, but we'll manage it to you. That's the bare minimum. Really what you want is they should know what your goals are, what your passive income goals are, what your real estate goals are. And there's basically 3 phases. 1 is that they manage it and that's it. They're probably, you can do better than that. 2 is that they look for your aligned opportunities, right? What you want to make happen. And anytime they come across something that fits that, they'll let you know. So that's a little bit better. But 3 is really what you want. Ideally, they would actually pursue and create those aligned opportunities. That's what we do for all our heroes. That's why we don't manage that many properties. So we're not a property management company, but we do manage properties. We have a property management division. But with every one of our heroes, we don't just manage properties. We find out what the aligned opportunities are, which are to create a passive income of 20, 30 grand a month. And then we actively go out, find and create those opportunities for that very same hero so we can turn around and keep recycling our money and moving in more and more deals. That's what you should look for. Ideally, your property management company should come to you with opportunities that they're purposely going out and creating so you can create more deals and create more passive income. That's what you want to have happen. That's what an epic management team is. Not only do they manage the properties, but they also find new opportunities for you. So here's 7 questions to look out for and warning signs to look out for. Number 1 is look for their nobody mountain. We made another class. I mentioned this as well. This is the easiest thing to look for. You should find a nobody mountain is an accumulation of effort, resources, input, just outright hustle that nobody else is willing to do. If the person you're talking to doesn't have that, if they don't have something where you're like, holy shit, these people are above and beyond anything anybody else is doing, right? That's what you should see from these people. If you don't see that, then you're probably going to get similar results. Guys, the only way somebody can help you do deals is based on the deals on the leads they generate. If they're not mastering generating leads, not converting leads, or building relationships, one of those 3 things, which I think is one of our things below, then that tells you a lot about the state of the quality of deals and interactions that they're going to be able to have with you. They're not going to be serious people. They're not people you should spend time with, you should take very seriously. Find something where you say, oh my gosh, their level of input, they are doing something that nobody else in that market is willing to do. By the way, BigRia.com, we have like 5 pages there. They're going to be producing over $1 million a year. 5 pages. I've always thought it'd be crazy to put up 1 page, not a website, 1 page on a website that made $1 million a year. And it's not tracking a lot of these numbers. We have multiple pages now that are on their way to clearing 7 figures a year. There's multiple pages at BigRia.com that are nobody mountains. Nobody is willing to put this many free motivated seller ways to find free motivated sellers leads, for example, like stuff like that. Look for something they've got that's like, wow, these people are willing to do stuff that nobody else is willing to do. Do they win? Is it sensational? Mike Tyson said it's not good enough to win. You got to be sensational, right? That's what you got to have. It's not enough to win. You got to annihilate, destroy people. How do you want your property management to be? Should they be just okay? They're mediocre. Do you want them to be just annihilating everybody, destroying everybody? Look at the leads look at BigRia.com. Just compare it in any metric to anybody else, not just in Indiana, but in the Midwest. Every metric, it is annihilating. These guys, these nuts, man, these people are beautiful. They are annihilating everybody else. It's obvious, right? If you look there, it's like, my gosh, that's why we're getting so many leads, so many of these calls. Like, I want to work with you, not the turds I got. I get that. But what you should look for with these people is somewhere where they're winning sensationally, right? Where they're actually destroying people. So a quick thing to look for is how are they generating leads? Call up their number, their marketing, and see how they're following up with you. If they're just saying, what's the least you could take in the next 24 hours? That's what every LC does. And if they're generating leads by doing the same thing everybody else does now, where they're just buying lists off of PropStream, spamming them, they're going to be shut down soon. That is illegal. To be clear, the only way you're able to get away with it is because, the laws are behind and they don't know how to track Google voice numbers. Pretty soon, look at what happened in Atlanta. I made a class about this in wholesaling. They're actually subpoenas. They're sending subpoenas to Google and to other online companies to send them the information for those people. And those people are getting fined sometimes $100,000. And in one case, $20 million fine to a guy who's never done a deal, but was wholesaling by spamming people. This is going to happen everywhere. You need to look for people who win and they win big. When we say, for example, 30 grand a month, that's the kind of stuff you want. People who are just annihilating any expectation. And you want to find people that when you look at them, say, if I worked with them, what would be a win? And I think that's exactly one of the other things, right? So number 3 is what and who do they brag about? This is another really big thing, just in general. A lot of people get into real estate education and they work with these gurus, like these Instagram influencers, a bunch of dickheads there too. And And the problem is that whenever someone says, oh, I'm like people in, like, oh, I have a $10 million wholesaling business. No, you don't. Anything that people say about themselves is always horseshit. Just take that in mind. So someone says, oh, I built a $5 million business. It's bullshit. That they didn't. How do you know? It's all bullshit. The number one thing so for example, I brag all the time, right? But what do? I brag about other people, right? It's very hard to do that because let's say you're one of my clients, one of our heroes, and I said, oh, he's making 50 grand a month. She's making 50 grand a month. If you weren't making 50 grand a month, how would I get you to go along with that, right? You wouldn't. Nobody would. That's why the less you've done for yourself, the more you have to brag about what you've done for others. A lot of these wholesalers are talking about how many deals they're doing. That's all they do. Oh, we do, 100 deals a year. We have a $5 million business. It's all bullshit, first of all. But even if it was true, what about your people? What about the people you're working with? What about the last 10 people you assigned a deal to? How much money did they make? How much money did they save? How much equity were they able to generate from that deal? That's what you should be talking about. Brag about what the people who your clients, what your heroes, what your people are doing. That's what we do. We always brag about what other people are doing. And we never, for example, I never talk about how many deals I've done, never talk about how much money I'm making. I never even touch that stuff. I always brag about what other people are doing. It doesn't matter what I've done for myself unless I've synthesized that, distilled it into a series of steps anybody can follow and create a predictable result, right? That's the same thing with this stuff. It doesn't matter if somebody built a $10 million wholesaling business, which is total horseshit. They didn't. But even if they did, what difference, if you're screwing people over, if you're spamming people, if you're doing all this crazy stuff that people, what difference does that make? Well, how about saying, you know what? We're helping our people get to 10 grand a month of passive income, 30 grand a month of passive income. What a badass thing to say. Anybody that said that has got to be somebody you should work with, right? That's what we say. But something specific, like something you should be bragging about how much money the people that the people, your investors, if you're really moving that many deals, we move 100 deals a year, 300 deals a year, 500, 1,000 deals a year. Okay, let's just take the last 20 and tell us how it turned out for them. In other words, when somebody trusted you and did what you said, how did it go? What happened? What was the actual quantified result? Number 4, look at their team successes and deals. This is another big thing. You should be able to talk to somebody, and we have a bigria.com/people page. That's the next one. Teams execution resources. Go to bigria.com/people. There's a whole list of people there. And if you think about working with a wholesaler or any of these people, when they ask them who their title company is, ask them who their lender is, and call those people up ahead of time and talk to them. But also, don't listen when somebody says, oh, I've built this. In most of these cases, it's always some people who are bragging about how big their business is. Well, just look at their team. How much money are the people on their team making? Look at their successes. What types of deals are they doing? Everybody on that team that should be doing deals. If they're not doing deals, do they really believe in what they're selling? It's like Steve Jobs said, I've never seen a successful business where the people, they need to be eating their own dog food, right? The people there shouldn't be buying a competitor's dog food, right? For their dog. You should believe in the product you have, and you should at least in some way be invested in what's going on. Anytime somebody says to me, oh, I've built a multi-million-dollar business, and they've got a bunch of VAs that they've hired, and they brag about, oh, I pay them shit, I keep them in the dark, right? What does that tell you about their attitude? They're not really trying to lead people, right? You need caretakers, people it's in their DNA to take care of people, to make sure that people win. And it starts with their team, the people around them. There should be people around them who are getting rich. And the income, you look at any given wholesaler, any business, take out the top person at the top, and then ask yourself, who else there is impressive? Is anybody else there impressive? For example, when we talk about 30 grand a month, not only have I trained multiple people on our team to create 30 grand a month, but they've gone out and trained people to get to 30 grand a month, right? We have more testimonials of people getting 10 to 30 grand a month than any organization on the planet, formal or informal education, training, whatever you want to talk, however you want to consider it. We have more testimonials, more real life examples of people getting a 10 to 30 grand a month, a quantifiable goal than any other group or organization, right? I say that because we constantly talk about other people, but you can look at the team and see people on our team that are having huge successes and doing deals. If you don't see that, most of what they're saying is bullshit, and they're not going to be able to produce for you because they're not even producing for their team. And the people that you're going to try to reach out to if there's a problem are people who have no idea what they're doing because they're not doing deals either. They're all LCs. Guys, I know people are reaching out to people, then they get in touch with us. We call those teams and we're dealing with idiots. Like, we can look up and see how many deals they're doing. They're not these people that you've trusted with hundreds of thousands of dollars, your retirement money. They have no idea what they're doing because they're all LCs. They're all bums. Teams execution resources. Basically the same. This carries on the last thing I said before. You want to be able to see that the team is doing something impressive. There should be people on that team that's like, holy shit, those guys are hungry. Those guys are serious. Some of these scammers are using the same agents, the same property managers, and they're just moving them between these big wholesaling scammers. Then they're going out and they're just getting these weirdo people. I don't know what these people are thinking. They're not making any money. They're not doing any deals, but they end up listing these properties. They go out and manage these properties. They're part of the inspector scams. They're part of the getting these general contractors to go out and lie about the work. It's just crazy. Look at the execution of the team and ask yourself, is that someone who I want, their level of execution, their level of skill, is that what I want on my side? Is that what I want producing for my assets, right? Because if they're not doing a good job, if they're not doing anything impressive, just look up their realtor. Go to MIBOR, MIBOR, Metropolitan Indianapolis Board of Realtors. Go there and look up the production of one of those realtors and just check it out and see, is this someone who's really seriously doing deals? Are they doing deals off market? How are they doing doing deals. Check out their site. Just have a conversation with them. What is their level of execution? We have what we call the public Rolodex model. Go to bigrio.com/people. This is a whole model. We have, I think, 10 or 15 people now that are creating a part-time income, and I think in some cases a full-time income, just using that page. There's that many resources, that many people there you can connect with. Guys, if you compare us to any of these things, obviously we're going to annihilate everyone, but don't you want to, this will save you from a lot of headache, right? What is their exact definition of success for you in one sentence? This is super important. All right, guys, so forget everything else I said. If you forget, you shouldn't, but if you forget everything else I said, just get this one thing. What is the exact definition of success for you in one sentence? So if you go to a property management company, you go to a wholesaler, and you say, when you work with a client like me, an investor from out of state, what is success to you? What would be success for me? Like, what in your eyes, what would that be? And often they won't have an answer for you, which tells you how much thought they've put into it, right? So for example, what do we say? 10 to 30 grand a month passive income. By the way, we're not working with new investors because we don't. I explained that before. We kind of had to close doors on that. But there's like 200-300 investors we have on our waiting list. If you want to join our waiting list, go to bigrio.com. So I'm not saying this to sell you about that. I'm just telling you that you may read this and be like, nobody's that amazing, that awesome. Well, I mean, if people are serious and hungry when they're aligned, and you only want people who believe that helping you is their destiny, that a million trillion things had to happen in the universe for you guys to come together, and they are absolutely in your corner no matter what. They're going to make it happen for you, and you don't need to worry about any kind of BS getting in the way. They're unstoppable. These people are psychotically driven. That's what you need, a group of nuts, group of psychotically driven people who are going to go out and then make the most out of your investments, make the most amount of money for you. And it starts with the definition of success. What would you say success is? If they're good, whatever sentence they tell you, like, oh, so you make a good return, or you make a good, what would that be? Get a number, a mathematical, you'd make 30 grand a month. Okay, so your definition of success on a deal like this would be for me to make 30 grand a month. Is that right? Okay, now your next question should be, where are the people that did that? So whatever the definition of success is, where can I see the testimonials, the success stories of people that did what the definition of success is? If you just do this one thing, you will never work with another dickhead again because they're not going to have it. If they say, oh, you should make 30 grand on this deal. So do we have some success stories of 30 grand, people making 30 grand on a deal like this? Can we go over those? Because if they had those, by the way, why are they bragging about themselves? Shouldn't they be saying, hey, we help people make 30 grand a month on flips without leaving their house from out of state, right? The other thing, by the way, about wholesaling is if you really know what you're doing, you would be doing the deals yourself. Wholesaling is only a part-time thing, right? It's not something that really you want to build equity, and this isn't the best way to do it. Now, sometimes it's good to work. Why are we working with our heroes, by the way? Because we love them. They were the first heroes that started for our special needs group. The goal here is to get 100 properties paid off free and clear. And our first group of people, we will go to the ends of the earth for them, by the way. We're going to continue working with them, even though we don't need them, because you do it enough to get the group's money up. It was an experiment to see, and we have a few other satellites now. That was the mothership. We have a few other models running. Those aren't going great, by the way. They're not going as well as they should, but that was the reason why we worked with investors to begin with and why we're not anymore. But I'm saying that I always had the definition of success defined, and this should be for you. It should be clear to you as well. If you're working with the wholesaler, I should be able to ask you, hey, what's success? And you in one sentence should be able to tell me, and that has been communicated clearly by them. If it hasn't been, they don't know what's going to happen with you. They don't care. They're not going to take care of you. And they're just going to, man, there's so much money to be made in any market, really, but Indiana is such a special, unique market. It's been very special to me. It's changed my life. And I think about all the trillions of things that had to happen for my family to have come to Indiana from Florida. And I'm so thankful. I actually went to high school, in central Indiana. I love Indiana. I love the city. I love the people. There's a lot of great people. If you just ask this one question, it'll save you a lot of heartache. Study their lead generation. This is the other part about this. You should look at their business, look at it, just ask yourselves, what kind of, are they generating? So the number one thing is that people should be generating leads like nobody else. They should be converting leads like nobody else, and or they should be building relationships like nobody else. If they're not doing one of those three things, you're dealing with the turd. You're going to get mediocre results at best. You have to be able to generate leads in a way or better than anybody else, right? So look at their own lead generation. Just flat out ask them, how do you get deals? And the more vague that answer is, oh gosh, more it's going to be horseshit. So a lot of them are doing the spamming stuff. They're just getting a list of numbers, hitting them up with spamming, and just sending them text and emails and sending them a voice blast and all kinds of nonsense. They're going to get shut down, but maybe they're doing pay-per-click. Well, check out their landing page, and it's probably going to be some template page that they paid from somebody else. They're not generating leads like nobody else is. In fact, it would take you about 30 seconds to compete with them, and you'd be getting the same leads they're getting, right? Because people, and a lot of these sellers will call like 10 people. They'll just, when somebody's got an itch, they'll find 50 things to scratch it with. So they're not doing anything, any kind of unique lead generation, which is crazy. Then converting, they're not doing any kind of creative converting. Get on their email list. Get on there, just see what kinds of emails they send out, kinds of communication they send out, what kind of content do they produce. And it's normally going to be dog shit content if they produce anything. And you realize, man, they're not converting leads at all. Relationship building. Do not settle. If they're not building relationships, if they don't have the only place they're going to get leads from, all the deals, all the stuff you're going to get from them comes from this, from lead generating, from lead converting, or from relationship building. And if they're doing a shitty job with that, which they are, I promise you, in almost every case, then you're just going to get, this is how you get properties. People send us deals they bought. We looked it up. It was on the MLS for like $15,000 less than they sold it. What an insane thing. So now other thing wholesalers are doing, they write up a contract, they get the property pending. I don't know what the realtors are dickheads too. I don't know why they're going along with this either. Well, I do, because they're scamming people too. So the property's pending at 70 grand. Then they go around marketing this property for 80, 90 grand. Somebody will buy the property out of state because they didn't look it up because they trusted the person. Now you have to come to closing. You're paying this dickhead $30,000 to buy a property for $30,000 or $40,000 or $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, whatever. You're paying this guy $30,000. He's giving the agent a cut of that. The agent's only going to make like $1,500, but now they're going to make like $5,000 or $10,000, right, on that property. This stuff is happening because the investor is not educated. Now those numbers don't make sense. That wholesaler's a piece of shit. He doesn't have people on his team. I said I wouldn't say that. I say it all the time, man. Because anytime you're ruining somebody else's life, you're ruining their livelihood, their ability to produce, I have a problem with you. And these guys, they don't have people on their team. They're not getting appraisers. They're not getting, you're not getting a scope of work from a reputable person. You're not getting inspectors who know what the hell they're doing. You're getting ripped off. And man, more recently, I did not know how serious this problem was until just recently when you were sending me this stuff out. We're getting emails every day now. They're getting texts every day now. We're even getting phone calls. People who are and they go over their situation. I think there's no way. There's no way. When you're telling me this, I was like, that can't, they have to maybe they miscommunicated something. What they are explaining to us, it cannot be the actual case. Yep. Turns out we look into it and that's what happens. So guys, do this stuff. It'll save you a world. Look for their Nobody Mountain. Do they win? Is it temptational, right? What and who do they brag about? The less they brag about others, the less you've done for others, the more you have to brag about what you've done for yourself. Look at their team, the successes and deals. They should have people on their team that are getting rich, people on their team that are into it, right? Teams, execution, and resources. What resources they provide for you? We provide more education than any other organization ever. Don't compare it to that. It's not fair. It's like playing against a computer. They should have some resources, some education. Here's how I generate leads. Here's the process we have. Here's the plan we'll walk you through. Something that they can have. It's like, okay, something you could grab and say, this is what they're going to do for me. I'm excited because of this, right? Something like the public Rolodex model. We have a list of people who have asked to be placed on a page. We put them all up for free. These are people who are quote unquote competitors. Don't care because we're like, hey, go through all these people. It's just going to make us look better, right? But now people use that page to create a part-time income. How amazing is that? What is the exact definition of success for you in one sentence, right? What would be a success for you? Study their lead generation and their lead conversion and the relationship building. Do that and you'll be fine. You'll be a lot better off. I promise you, you will not get scammed. What to do next? Ask the 7 questions above. Number 2, use our property management scoring test. This is in a class below. Use our GRS income blueprint and give it to them so you have a schedule. So if you have a bunch of properties, you're with somebody, go through our GRS program, the 30 grand a month passive income. Come up with the formula. I want 1% properties. Here's where I want them. Here's how many I need. Go through that and just give it to them so that they can at least do it for you, or at least they know what you want. I want to get to 10 grand a month. I need, 15, 1% properties in these kinds of areas. At least you give them some guidance, some North Star, right? Go through our free wholesaling training classes and see how it's done correctly. If you're wanting to wholesale, you're probably going to do it like a dickhead, just like these other people are. But I promise you, go through our classes. It's epic, amazing, and you'll come out of it and you'll be clearing 40, 50, 60, 70, 100 grand a month in wholesaling. You'll be building relationships, doing it correctly, and then you'll be able to start doing deals the correct way because you don't want to wholesale for very long, and you can build a serious business and just doing it correctly. I don't even want to call them wholesaling. It's more like doing deals, but the technical term would be wholesaling. 5, email, text us with any questions or big issues. Also, check out the page, bigria.com/people. So here's the thing, guys. Here's my promise to you. If you're getting scammed right now, if one of these crazy bullshit things is happening to you, I apologize. I'm really sorry. Indiana's got a bunch of wonderful people. Indiana's a great state. There's a bunch of great stuff. I promise you, you can easily get rich in Indiana real estate. It's not difficult, and you can get rich not by being a shitball, but by actually helping people and actually building relationships, helping other people create generational wealth, building a team of people. It's not difficult. There's plenty of opportunities. So send us an email or a text, love@bigria.com, and tell us your situation. We'll help you out. We are also reporting some of these people to the Attorney General behind the scenes. Although honestly, I've had this conversation with their office and also with we have the Marion County detectives, the Sheriff's Department, and detectives on this, and I really I have to say I've been very disappointed. This is the problem. Our immune system as real estate investors should be stronger than this. We should not allow dickheads like this to flourish, and they are. It's like scam people $30 million and you're totally fine. You'll be you're just whistling past the graveyard that you created and everything's totally fine. I don't know how this is possible. It's really crazy, man. And I guess because what bothers me so much, I was thinking about this earlier, like, why am I so irritated by this? And it's because I know what it's like if you want to do things, your family and friends aren't with you. They're thinking you're just completely crazy. You're out of your mind. Why are you trying to do this stuff? And then you go out, you take a risk, you trust people, you get involved. I just moved it over there. Mr. Gorgeous has been moved. You go out there and you try to make things happen, and then this thing happens to you, and now it's like you got this pit in your stomach. You're not sleeping right. You're not eating right. Everything, and now your friends and family like, oh, you stupid asshole. What were you thinking? Like the whole world's coming down on you, and it's all because you think that it's over, and it doesn't work at all, period. This idea that Indiana's awful, or that Indiana investors are shitballs, all of them, or that you should have just stuck to the rivers and lakes that you used to. Don't go chasing waterfalls in Indiana. Guys, it's not like that. There's all kinds of opportunity. You just didn't connect with the right person. Use these 7 questions. Use this process. I think it'll really help you. And let us know if you have other problems, because I promise you we will do everything we can to get you connected with the right people. There's plenty of great people we can introduce you to, and we can solve your problem for you. I'm so sorry this is happening to you. Help is here. We will take care of you. By the way, for free. But everything I do, all this stuff is free. What a guy. What a guy. How could someone this gorgeous be so brilliant and generous? I don't know. It's one of the wonders of the world. What's how to build $100,000 a month wholesale business from zero correctly. Okay, so this is a series of classes you can go through. How do we work? How should you do things correctly? How do we generate leads? This is it. Wholesale real estate, stay out of jail, making $100,000 a month. 5 steps to wholesale correctly. That's a free class. Here's a class on assignable lease options. Another class on real estate wholesaling. Here's another class on wholesaling becoming illegal as it should be, the way it's being done. Go another class on wholesaling for real estate. Getting to $100,000 a month in less than 9 days. Is wholesaling becoming illegal? Guys, even if you don't want to become a wholesaler, these classes will tell you what to look for when someone's doing it correctly, and almost nobody is. These are classes that are brilliant, epic, amazing, beautiful, just like me. Indiana Turnkey Investors. So if you want to do Indiana Real Estate Turnkey from out of state, check out these classes. First, we have the Indy Dream Team classes at 9 questions. That's the property management test. Go get that test. Ask these people. It's a scoring at the end. You can use to score each of these people, and it'll tell you what to look for, exactly what questions. Download those exact questions, the exact script to use to when you're talking to these Indy wholesalers, real estate investors, and property managers, and you'll be good. Here's the Indy Property Management Best Practices, a series of interviews. Although I don't think we've uploaded many interviews yet. We've done a bunch of them, but again, a lot of them are with people who are kind of dog shit. So it's like, why do we want to put this dickhead up? But 10 questions asked property managers, Indy Turnkey Investing, and flip houses in Indiana without leaving your house. Check out these classes. All these classes totally for free, completely for free. We have the $30,000 a month, how to make $30,000 a month with Indiana Real Estate as an out-of-state investor. That class is totally for free. The application for the GRS program to become one of our investors is there, but it's actually just to be on the waiting list because we're full right now. All these classes, all this stuff we made available totally for free. The 19 tips, here they are again. This was tip number 10, Indy wholesaling scams, how to avoid them, and how to avoid being taken care of by unethical real estate. Guys, there's so much opportunity. I hope this helps you. Guys, we give you the exact scripts of what to say. Just be a little bit smarter, a little bit more picky with who you work with, and I promise you everything will be fine. Everything will be wonderful. Go to bigria.com. Do it now. I love you.